Hey everyone, welcome back. So tonight, Nate and I are going to a Friendsgiving that my best friend is throwing. So the dish that I said I would bring are maple apple blondies. And I've never done these before. Let me show you a picture of what they're supposed to look like. I don't know if you can really see that, but this is what they're supposed to look like. And as always, I'll put in the description bar below where I got the recipe and give them credit where credit is due. But they look really good, and they just kind of remind me of a very fall Thanksgiving flavors. So that's why I'm taking them. So I figured I would do a cooking video because I had fun doing that last time. It's just something different. Yeah, so let's get started. So I already made them. I'm doing this intro after I made them. And I just kind of want to explain a little bit. In the middle of this recipe, I kind of realized that I don't have enough batter. I used a little bit smaller pan than what the recipe called for, and it just was not enough to spread over top. And so I don't know if the size really made that much of a difference, but basically I doubled the batter to have more spread out on top. So mine I already know are gonna be thicker. They look thicker, but they smell amazing. They look golden brown on top. It's cooked all the way through as far as I know. I did the toothpick test multiple times and I think they're gonna be good. But yeah, you know, what would cooking be without hiccups? You know, I don't know that life. Some of you may, not me. As always, this video is sponsored by Starbucks today. I'm just kidding. I think I'm funny. Maple apple blondies. Let's go. Okay guys, so here I have 2 apples that I am going to dice up pretty finely. That's obviously to your liking, but I don't really like when I'm eating something and there's like a huge chunk of apple. So I diced those pretty small. And then what we're going to do is get a skillet heated on the stove over medium-low, and we're going to add your diced apples to the pan and cook that with 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. So here I am adding the apples. So we're doing 2 tablespoons brown sugar, 1 tablespoon butter, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and half a teaspoon of cinnamon. We're going to swirl that around, cook that over medium-low for just a few minutes, and then pull it off and allow to cool. So now we are going to make our batter for the blondies. I have 1 cup of butter that I softened in the microwave, and then we're blending together till light and fluffy. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of brown sugar, get that mixed together, a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, mix that together, and then we are going to add 2 eggs to our wet mixture and blend that one at a time, which is annoying because I had to wash my hands between each time. Tedious. And then at the very end of that, we're going to put 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract and add that together. And that's going to be our wet mixture, and we will add our dry ingredients in just a second. So the dry ingredient mixture that we're doing consists of 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Then we're going to add that into our wet mixture a little at a time until it's all combined. And it does get pretty thick, which is what you want. So here is where I start to realize something is wrong. So basically you spread an even layer on the bottom. Once you get that even layer spread out there, we're going to add on top of that the apple mixture. Like I said earlier, I used a slightly larger pan than what the recipe calls for. The recipe tells you to use a 11x7 pan. This is a 9x13. I really don't think that's that big of a difference to make such a difference in the quantity of batter, but that's kind of what I realized. So here I am adding the apple, and then when I started to do the top layer, it just was not enough to even blend on there, and it was very, very difficult. I couldn't really even spread it because it was mixing with the apples, so I doubled the batter. Oh my goodness. Screw it. I don't know.
What do you need me to tell you how to do?
So I was obviously pretty frustrated, as you can imagine, and my husband's comment, I hope everyone appreciated at the time. I did not. Here we will see me try and do damage control. Okay, so this is after I made another batch of the brownie topping, or the blondie topping. I don't know. We're gonna just kind of play it by ear, but definitely this spreads a lot better. I honestly really don't think that it would have made much difference if I would have used I think the recipe calls for 7 by 11 pan, which I think is a weird measurement, but this is a 9 by 13, which is pretty standard. I really don't think that's that much difference that it would have, that the batter would have felt like a lot more. So I don't know, you guys, we'll see how this goes, but right now I'd recommend doubling that quantity for that blondie batter, so you at least have enough to go over the apple layer, but we'll see. Okay, so that goes into the oven for about 25 minutes or until the top is golden brown, is what it says, at 350. So we are going to make the glaze now that goes on top of the brownies with 2 tablespoons of butter and a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. Melt that over, medium-low heat. Add in a 1/4 tablespoon of vanilla and 1/8 teaspoon cinnamon. That seems like a very small amount. I guess whatever you want to do. And then at the very end, after that's all heated through, we're going to add in a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. Blend that all together, and then it'll slowly kind of mix in as the heat melts it a bit. Okay, so I pulled these out of the oven. They want you to allow for it to cool for at least 10 minutes before putting thank you, baby, before putting the glaze on top. Look up here and say hi. Hi. Say hi. Hi. Okay, anyway, so now I'm going to put the glaze all over this. I wanted the glaze to thicken, and it definitely has, so we'll see where this goes. Naomi, no. Nate.
Hey.
And we're getting different angles because of my 18-month-old.
Hey, come here.
Anyway, this is still obviously a little warm. It hasn't cooled all the way, but I think that probably helps in spreading the glaze, which is very, very thin, but it's really probably pretty dang sugary, so I don't think you probably need a thick layer of it. So I think these are gonna be good. Guess I won't post this video if they're terrible. Oh, what the heck. And ta-da! Maple apple blondies. I'm not gonna cut into them. I have to take them to Friendsgiving tonight, so. Everyone have a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video, and make sure to subscribe. Bye.